Hello and welcome to another excellent episode here at Bad Beard's podcast show channel. We're in the basement. We're still talking about AIMExpo 2025. I still have like another 6 to go. And welcome. We're talking about Jake Edwards from Spite's Corner. I had the pleasure of meeting Jake in Vegas as directed from or for or to or in between Sean Kerr, another content creator out there in the motorcycle space. I'm not sure which came first, either the chicken or the motorcycle, but just the same, Jake was great. I learned a lot from him. He has a background in film, and his time spent in the creator space working with, I believe it was Yammie Noob, who was a pretty big guy in the scene there for a while. Was a bit of his introduction. So we got to talk about this, that, and the other. And I had a great time, and he's a great dude. So if you like high-quality content and kind of a day in the life of, I think it's actually a day in the saddle is the format that he runs with, where it's like he'll test ride a bike for a day, and then he kind of reports on that. So pretty interesting stuff. Real nice guy. In Spite's Corner, it's a handle from something, but I actually don't remember what Spites was about. But maybe I talk about it, maybe I don't. Either way, we'll leave it for next time. I hope you guys enjoy the show, and stay tuned. We'll do this again and again and again. Jake Edwards from Spite's Corner.
Yep.
All right. So get that mic in your face. Feeling
Check.
good? Looking
Check.
good?
Yeah, feeling good.
Check.
Got any ideas as to what we're talking about? Or are we just going to
No, that's my job, dude. So welcome. We are still here at AIMExpo, day 2, rounding out our day. It is the afternoon.
Yes, it is.
So we were sitting yesterday kind of closing out the day, and one of my friends, as I was just kind of like prospecting like folks I'm going to talk to, he said, hey, you see that guy over there? He's a video guy. He's a YouTube dude. I'm like, oh, cool. And so rather than figure it out, I just happened over to your table, introduced myself.
Yeah.
And so for my friends at home, and equally me, because we're still getting to know each other, give us just a little introduction, who you are and your background.
Right. So I'm Jake from Spite's Corner.
Hey, Jake.
Cover a whole bunch of... The way that I like to think about it is everything on two wheels. I try not to find myself stuck in a little niche. I do cruisers, ADV bikes, dirt bikes, dual sports, everything.
As a wrench turner, you're like a technical dude?
Yeah, I like to... I just finished... restoring a 98 VMAX. Bought that thing for $700. Took a year and spent like $8,000 on it.
Now it's worth $8,700.
I wish if I could get $8,700 out of that thing.
Yeah.
It's on its second dashboard. I think the first one, I hope it didn't roll over and it's not 172,000 miles.
Yeah.
I'm hoping it's just 72. But yeah, no, I like to work on bikes. I've got a couple of pet projects that I want to work on this year. With a Sportster that I picked up, and fingers crossed, a Pan America ST.
Well, and so forgive my ignorance, but you are a video creator. You're a builder, but you're working in the YouTube space. Like this has become a big part of your life.
Yeah, so I've been on YouTube since 2019, so that's 5 years.
Yep. You're good at math, man.
Yeah, in my brain after wandering around all day. I don't know how many miles I've done in this giant hall.
Yeah, imagine these conversations. I'm just doing this all day.
But yeah, so I've been doing, I started out editing for a much larger YouTube channel by the name of Yammie Noob, and then I got on camera there, and that's where I really started to learn how to review a motorcycle, and I met a whole bunch of folks that I've been hanging out with all afternoon today. And then we parted ways in 2022, I think. And then I started my own deal, and now I've been doing it full time for the last couple of years.
That's great. And so are you a one-man band? You're shooting, you're editing, you're doing all the things?
Yeah, for the most part. I'm trying to, this year, my main goal in terms of the business is actually get to a point where I'm no longer editing the videos, because that is a massive time suck.
Yeah.
Like, I think people... they're like, oh, you know, filming, that's probably what takes the longest time. I'm like, not even close.
No.
So editing is probably the one thing that's holding back the production on the channel, and I want to just step away from that so that I can make cooler stuff.
Yeah.
So right now I do it all, and I'm better at making content than actually running the business. I'm currently working with a CPA who's like, dude, what the hell are you doing?
Hemorrhaging cash.
Exactly. So we're trying to...
Sorry, Eric at Spires & Associates.
So somebody else knows the pain.
Yeah, dude.
But yeah, we're trying to get that all sorted out and get it all figured out, and so I can actually be a business professional. And but really, at the end of the day, what I like doing is I like riding motorcycles and saying why motorcycles are awesome.
How old are you right now?
I'm 31.
31. And so how long have you been in the YouTube space?
5 years, 5.5 years.
Was that something that you ever considered, like, that's what I could do?
Well, so it's kind of funny, right? I studied in college, actually, film production.
Oh,
So,
where?
University of Wisconsin-Madison.
Okay.
So they were just pioneering their film courses, their whole, it's communication arts with a subcategory of radio, TV, film, and I focused on film. And it was really cool. That's where I learned how to, set up a scene, how to work a camera, even though you could kind of do that on YouTube nowadays. YouTube University is actually really effective.
Like and subscribe.
Yeah. And once I got started, I wanted to learn more about, like, the background of how people can make a living on social media. That always really fascinated me, because I'm of the generation now where we're cutting the cord, and I don't have cable. I've got Netflix and YouTube and all that other stuff, which honestly is now getting about as expensive with all the subscriptions, which is kind of funny.
It is an ebb and flow in all things, and so it'll go full cycle again, where it'll turn into some type of cable package, and like they group it, and then
I mean, at least right now, you can pick and choose. So
you can
hopefully
pick and
it stays
choose your
that way.
friends' accounts you have access to, and that's what you watch.
Yeah. And so I studied a lot of how to produce content for the internet, which was kind of cool.
So you went to a school at the time that professors were telling you how to interact on the internet.
Less so teaching you how to interact on the internet, and more teaching you how to edit for different styles of media.
Okay.
Right? So you learn the difference of how film editing is different than creating for YouTube specifically, or, some other short form stuff. And that, I wish I had drilled down more on that, because now that I'm on my own, it would have been really handy. I learned so much while I was at Yammie Noob, but this is such an quickly evolving medium that, you wake up one day and this style thumbnail really, really hits. And then the next day, if you do that again, 10 out of 10. Nobody wants to click on that.
That's so frustrating, because a lot of what I do, I've been in the space of production and video and all things for many years, and so there's this aversion I have to not following the normal what the thing to do is, but even like down to the thumbnails and all these things where I feel, and not to discredit myself, but I'm doing so much and wearing so many hats that when it comes to just even like all right, not only do I got to do this, that, and the other. Now you got to do a thumbnail to then appeal to these things that ultimately you could miss by just a hair, and it's not the right thing, and it torpedoes your video. That I've just conceded, and I go, you know what? I'm just going to stay consistent with what I do, and if my thumbnail doesn't hit, I don't know.
This was a couple of weeks ago. I released a video talking about. It was a news video, which I do every now and again. I'll do a news roundup where I pick 3 topics that have happened in the last couple of weeks, and I'm like, this is cool, let's talk about it. Bring a little bit of vision to some stories that might not be covered on like motorcycle.com or whatever. Or they've fallen down the ballot because KTM now suddenly they're $4 billion in debt or whatever. But
Must be nice.
Yeah, right. But so I made a video talking about how Honda is not bringing their CB1000 SP to the United States. And that is actually, in my opinion, big news, because we're, in terms of markets, we are kind of secondary for Honda, I would reckon, just because, we consume motorcycles as toys in large part.
Not our daily drivers.
Yeah, and so here in the States, a 1000 is like the bike people get. So having the Hornet 1000 not here, that just seems like such an obvious miss for Honda, which has some amazing motorcycles. But there's precedent, right? Honda did not bring the new CBR 600 RR to the States. They did not bring the red, white, and blue colorway for the Transalp to the States. They only launched it in black. And Yamaha never brought the MT-01, which is one of the most wild naked bikes you'll ever see. So there's precedent for it, and I wanted to cover that, and I made the title and thumbnail all Honda focused. Bombed. It did terribly. And then about an hour and a half later, I sit down.
Well, how do you say that it was the thumbnail and not your content?
So here's why. Because I made the second news story I covered was Harley focused, and Harley, for better or for worse, tends to be a bit of a punching bag online. And they had just had their
Because they can handle it.
They really can.
Yeah.
If any company out there can roll with the punches, they do a good job of doing it. And so they had a leak for their 2025 Softails, going over all of the specs that had not been released yet because they hadn't done the model year launch. I switched the title and thumbnail to be Harley focused. Immediately it went from bottom of the barrel to 1 out of 10.
Wow.
In about 40 minutes, it turned around that fast. And so that's where you just are like...
Are you mindful about time of day and all things considered too?
A little bit. I mean... I don't find really that time of day matters too much. Some people say there's a science, like if you look online, it'll be like, your audience is active now, so you should release 5 or 10 minutes before they get active. Whatever. The videos go out and they get viewed.
Yeah.
There's only so much I can control. But it was wild to see in real time the change between a video performing terribly and a video performing really well, just because I changed who I was being, quote unquote, negative about.
Yeah.
So that's just like YouTube in a microcosm.
Yeah.
It's bizarre, and you're always rolling with those punches.
When I only played socially speaking with like Instagram, that was like kind of what I did, just because it was, at the time, it was a photo app, and a lot of my business being photography and things like that, that's my outlet. I didn't along the way plug into YouTube, so it's always been a bit of a anomaly to me and an enigma. But even now, as all the socials change and Instagram isn't what Instagram once was, and trying to navigate algorithms and all these things, like how same with YouTube, is it just such a crapshoot that you're just like, are you getting like an email and saying like, hey, heads up, this is something that we're not into anymore, but this is what we are. Like, how do you even game that?
Honestly, by failing.
Yeah. In that case, I'm crushing.
Yeah, so you learn what doesn't work more so than what does.
Yeah.
And so, you said, well, how did you know it wasn't the video, the content of the video? Well, I just released one today where it definitely was the content of the video.
Yeah.
So, sometimes...
Well, what about the question then, like, who's the master then if you're changing what it is you're doing based on what the reception versus what you actually give a shit about?
So you need to balance that, right?
Yeah.
Because if you're just chasing what the algorithm wants you, or what the algorithm feels like, everybody talks about the algorithm, right? But it's also what the audience wants.
He's hideous.
Yeah. You gotta give the people what they want, right? And so that's one of the things where I still don't entirely know what the audience wants. I have an indication, but it changes, right? Like, so now we're in the off season. People want to see, especially the folks up in the north who are still bunkered down, want to see me riding bikes. They want to live vicariously, and so riding content actually does better for me now. And so there's a seasonality to it. There's a small part of the audience that really likes the restoration style stuff. And so those videos have a very different structure. And that's where, because I haven't kind of focused down on one niche, I have a lot more misses than I have hits. Because, eventually when you're in that niche, you can really mine a vein, right? Back in the Yammie Noob days, when we were there, one of the big tent poles of that channel was... And
forgive me again for my ignorance, Yammie Noob is another builder, rider...
Yammie Noob is one of the biggest motorcycle channels on YouTube.
I should know
It was
this, right?
like 1.5 million now. When I joined
He's
up...
the Mr. Beast of Moto.
Basically, yeah.
Okay.
And one of the things that we got really good at was creating the listicle style content. Top 7 adventure bikes for 2025, top 7 helmets, this sort of thing.
Not top 6?
I mean, they like the odd numbers for whatever reason. 5, 7, and 10. 10 is not an odd number, but it's 5, 7, 10. Always works really well. So, pro tip.
There you go.
But we figured out that was a very renewable piece of content. We could keep coming back to it.
And these are conversations you're having. Like, did you have like meetings? Like, all right, guys, let's plan of attack. You know, we see that this is hitting. Okay.
Yeah. So we would focus up, and we would look at like 45 days out, what pieces of content we're going to make, and we could always come back to that well. I haven't figured out what the well is that I keep coming back to. I think right now for me, one of the big ones is reviews. I am lucky enough to work with AF1 Racing in Austin, which is one of the I think they're the Aprilia dealership.
Okay.
They started out, I believe they started out as a forum of all things, and then they started selling product, and then they started selling Aprilias. And they let me have free reign over their demo bikes and some of their used inventory. So I'm always playing with new bikes to review. And that's where I've kind of found one of the tent poles. I can usually expect a review to do pretty well. Other stuff, I'm still trying to figure it out. The news does tend to do pretty well. So people, for
one that sounds
reason,
more like a personality piece.
A little bit, yeah.
Your personality.
I will report what's going on, and then I editorialize.
Yeah.
I think most of the folks who are coming for that, it's less about the actual news and more about like, hey, are we interested in this goofball's idea of what's
his
going
perspective?
on? Yeah.
Yeah.
At least I hope that's what you guys are there for. But, you know, it's fun to experiment, and that's one of the things that I love the most about being on YouTube is there's no guidebook. You just kind of wing it and see what happens. I'll wake up on some mornings and I'll be like, oh, you know what, my buddy's got an H2 SXSE. I want to go ride that one and play around with a 200 horsepower sport touring bike. I'll take a cool picture of that. I bet you that video will do well. Or the next day I'm playing around with, I'm going up to Canada to ride these 14 horsepower CRF 250Fs on single track and goofing off with a bunch of crazy Canadian guys from Traction E-Rag and their virgin single track trails. And those two things could not be more different, and I still get to do both of them. And that's how I know I'm so lucky with what I get to
on
do.
the right track.
Yeah.
Is that something you can project and kind of, you know, plan a future with?
How do you
Or
mean?
is that what you're doing here, even at a B2B event? Like, you know, the work that you put out on YouTube, is that something you're like, this is going to work for the next 5 to 10, and I keep growing this and scale it so that this is my job, this is my career, and I can build a life around it? Or is it something that you always have to have your head on a swivel, you know, that kind of thing?
That's tough. I look to the channels like the Yammie Noobs, like the Blockhead Motos, like the Shade Tree Surgeons, who have figured out how...
Well, and forgive me interrupting, are you a consumer of all these channels? Like, that was the start?
Yeah, I just watched I consume a biblical amount of YouTube.
Okay.
I mean...
You're accounting for all those views.
A lot of it.
Yeah.
I have YouTube Red, so I don't get any ads, so I'll just let stuff sit in the
See,
background.
this is the
and
friends
play.
account I need to get the YouTube. I don't have the YouTube Red. That sounds like a...
I don't get why, like, Google, if we're making content on YouTube, why don't we get YouTube Red? Like, why do I got to pay you for it? You're paying me. Why do I got to pay for it?
What's going on here?
It's only $10 a month.
A side story. I was shooting for Dropbox.
Uh-huh.
And you're familiar with Dropbox.
Yeah.
And so I was shooting some corporate event where they were, you know, releasing some new product. And so I'm at their corporate office. I'm in San Francisco or Cupertino or wherever they're based. And so I'm shooting the thing. And I got a gangle of cameras out there and covering all this thing to cut it into whatever. And then they wanted all the footage. And they, you know, that's fine. And at the time it wasn't even 4K, but it was still enough. And I had maxed out my Dropbox account that I was using. I was already paying for as a subscriber.
Yeah.
And I go, hey guys, which seemed like a simple request. I was like, I actually don't have enough space on my Dropbox to share your footage with you. You mind? And they're like, no. And I was like, oh, okay. You know, maybe that was my fault for not, like, you know, wording it better in the invoice or something like that. But that was one of those things where I was like, wait a minute.
Too bad, so sad. Go use Google Drive.
Yeah, there you go. And I should have sent him a Google Drive instead of a Dropbox, but whatever. Hindsight. So back to what you were saying.
Yeah, I mean, it's... As a biblical consumer of YouTube, I try to see what other people are doing. And the way that people measure success is very different. I think that one of the cool things is Shade Tree Surgeon.
What are you even saying? What is the...
So Shade Tree Surgeon.
Shade?
Tree Surgeon.
Okay.
Josh is one of the coolest, goofiest guys on YouTube. I've gone down to, he does these campouts twice a year, and they're
We talking like an arborist?
No, he's maybe he's an arborist of sorts.
About trees, dude.
In the Pacific Northwest.
Okay.
That sort of arbor. But he's got this program where he gives away motorcycles, and every penny goes to charity. Forgotten Angels is a charity out of Florida that helps specifically young men who have aged out of the foster system. And so he's set up a way to give back to the community really well. And in that way, he's something that I aspire to, and I'm trying to figure out a way that I can give back as well, you know. And I see other guys who, Blockhead Moto, opened his own custom shop, you know, and now he was just at Cowboy Harley Davidson in Austin doing a head-to-head with, I forget the other guy's name, but he built this custom road glide, and it was absolutely badass. And so in that way, those guys are using YouTube differently than I am, where I'm just like, hey, today I'm riding the CB1000R. They're using it as almost as like promotion for something else, but they're still having a ton of fun making YouTube content. And that's, in a way, that's the dream, because then they're less worried about, oh, this video didn't perform super well. This one was 10 out of 10. And for those of you who don't know, YouTube actually ranks your last 10 uploads out of 1 out of 10. And so you see the video go live, and it'll say 10 out of 10. You feel sad for a moment. You're just like, oh, I thought that was going to be fun. And then they're less worried, in a sense, about the performance of each individual video. And that gets you out of the trenches and lets you think about some more fun stuff that you can do.
Right.
And specifically how you can
The
give
less
back.
beholden to the number you are, the better you're offering.
Yeah, and I think that's the tough part, is how do you get away from being stuck every day looking at that number, 9 out of 10, 10 out of 10, 7 out of 10, and then when you get lucky, 1 out of 10.
One of the things I have to think about, you know, with digital ROI, you know, you can put a ton of time into something, and then, like you say, 10 out of 10 or whatever, is the idea that, you know, it may not be the number you were looking for, but the people that did see it are the reason that it's been shared, and then that will go where it needs to go and perform how it needs to perform.
Yeah.
At least that's what I tell myself.
And there's a bunch of tools that that a lot of YouTubers
You got tools, dude?
use.
Let me tell me about your toolbox.
So, first one, TubeBuddy. T-U-B-E Buddy.
T-U...
T-U-B-E Tube, as in boob tube.
Got it.
Buddy. They will give you a lot of back-end information, and you'll see, hey, look, this got shared on Facebook, this got shared on Reddit. And when that happens, that's really when a video will kick off, because YouTube will see, hey, look, this video got shared on another social media. We should really start pushing it. And you, as the creator, can't really do that organically. So when somebody goes and shares your video in a Facebook group or on a subreddit, that is when you look at it and you're like, that's why that video succeeded. I can point to that as the reason why this video really took off. And that is 100% audience members that are doing that. And that whenever I see that happen, I'm like, somebody thought so highly of this piece of content that they went out of their way to share it. And that's actually really humbling. And it's really cool, because I can directly see when that happens.
Do you, I don't know how familiar you are with that program. One of the things I've been navigating, and a little curiosity that I deal with podcasting. When I jumped into it, very unfamiliar. And oddly, I'm just not a consumer of many things. Like, I'm a creator, and I'm always putting stuff out as far as I see it, but I don't seemingly have time or just pay attention to just what's out there, maybe to my discredit, whatever. But when I started putting out podcast, I picked Spotify because it was a video podcasting platform. But one thing I learned very quickly was, as far as metrics which are valuable to, you know, garner any sponsorship money or glean any information about how it performed. I can only see Spotify's numbers. And it is a host that is immediately disseminates to the entire podcasting ecosphere, but I can only see Spotify. So other than those numbers, even though it goes elsewhere, I have no idea how it's doing. And so maybe, hey, if you're watching and you're like, hey, you ding dong, you're not looking at the I don't know. Mm-hmm. I don't know what it is.
So I've dabbled a little bit in podcast stuff. I this is to my discredit. I never really.
I think you're great.
I appreciate that. I never really took the time to think of other podcasting platforms because I'm so YouTube centric, right? So anything that I put out on YouTube like it's the end all be all. So when we were doing podcasts, some of the folks that I was doing it with, they would release it on these like automatic distribution platforms, and that would give back some of the analytics. So maybe there's a platform that
I do not deny that I am doing something incorrect in my understanding. So I'm the first to admit that I'm the kink in the chain.
We're flexing our ignorance on this topic bigly here because
bigly.
I don't dabble enough to actually get it.
Yeah.
But I'm sure that there are secondhand tools that will do that because
I just assume my show is super successful. I just think it's crushing.
I mean, that sometimes I have to do that with a video will bomb, and I'll be like, that's okay, I'll get him next time.
Yeah.
Because every now and again you make a video and it's just, or any piece of content really, whether it's Instagram, whether it's YouTube Shorts or TikTok or whatever, you make a piece of content and it just absolutely bombs. And if you let it get to you, then that's when you just have the spiral of sadness.
Are you deleting poor performing videos?
Never. No.
Because does that affect an overall algorithmic shift?
If you delete a piece of content, it means you can't save it.
Oh.
So you can always go back to a video and change the title and thumbnail. You can always try to re-promote it. But if you delete it, it's gone, right? And there's no second chances. When you make a video public on YouTube, you can actually delist it and then list it again, and it doesn't rebroadcast it to your audience. It just puts it back up
exists
like it was, and that is the quickest way to kill the performance of a video.
To shoot yourself in the foot.
Yeah, and so if you want to save a video, YouTube will actually pay attention to, oh, he changed the title and thumbnail. Oh, he did this, that, and the other thing to this piece of content. Let's try putting it out there again and see if people like it. And sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. So I try and there's a point at which if I've changed the title and thumbnail and the video's still performing poorly and it's been a couple of days, then I'm just like, all right, this one's dead. It's some people will watch it sometime, but I gotta move on.
Yeah.
I do know some folks personally who refuse to let content die. They will specifically Doodle on a Motorcycle. Her and I talk a lot. She's like a YouTube wizard.
She was sharing the seat earlier.
Yeah, she is a YouTube wizard. She knows the way to make a banger of a video faster than anybody else I know. I just wish I could osmosize all of her knowledge on the platform. You and me both, brother. Because she's brilliant about it. She's studied it like an actual profession.
Are these, other than becoming YouTube University, how many subscribers do you have?
150,000.
150,000. So do you hit milestones where then YouTube says, all right, this guy gives a shit, and return from his investment in us is worthy of this email to let him know this information? Or are there groups that does that make sense?
So YouTube will, in theory, when you hit 100,000, you're supposed to have a contact at YouTube that you can talk to and be like, hey.
What's his name? Jerry?
Mr. Google. I don't know.
Mr. Google.
You're supposed to get somebody who's like, they manage, like a district manager for a distributor. They manage all the dealerships underneath them.
Right.
YouTube is basically supposed to function the same way. You're supposed to have a contact within YouTube I don't know that I ever got that email. So
Check your spam.
Yeah, and even if I did,
It's in my Dropbox folder. It's just not big enough to hold it.
The thing is sometimes what YouTube wants to push is so opaque even to the people at Google that they're like,
Well, forgive me.
try
YouTube
this.
and Google are the same, no?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So like the people at YouTube will look and be like, I mean, this kind of content is trending for some reason.
Is it at the point that they are inputting code that's built on top of other code that's so deep in that they're affecting things of change that they don't even understand why the reaction?
I think that's there's a level
When they
to
can't
that.
pull back from it because they're like, what are we gonna pull the, it's like pickup sticks or something.
Yeah, and to the point where if they mess something up, they could literally destroy the livelihoods
Yeah.
of people on the platform.
Yeah.
So they approach that stuff super, super carefully. But again, they may not know what is trending or why.
Mm-hmm. Are you hitting hashtags?
Am I hitting hashtags? I am not. No. That is something that I have, as just a human being, refused to engage in.
Yeah, bless you.
Mostly just because I don't pay attention to any of that stuff. I'm kind of a Luddite in that way.
Oh shit!
To bust
Luddite.
out.
Yeah, he went to
high
film
dollar
school though.
world.
Film school.
So I don't. I should, but I don't.
The word should. I do not use the word should because there only is what is.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Man. But
You know what I should have done? No, it is what you did, and that is enough.
Yeah, I mean, at a certain point, you just need to know what works for
Yeah.
you, and then either you can always improve and iterate,
Yeah.
but you can't walk away from the stuff that makes you.
Mm-hmm.
Like if I started doing video game reviews or whatever, the people
I want to see you doing TikTok dances, dude. Let that hair down, dude.
I mean, we at least got a couple of weeks, right, before that goes away again.
Oh, is that what's happening?
I guess. I
I'm by choice oblivious to as many things news and noteworthy as possible.
That is for your own best interest. my
Fuck yeah,
friend.
dude. I couldn't be a happier little peach. I don't know dog shit.
Alls I know about TikTok is that it was gone for a day and now it's back for a little while and then maybe it'll stay there.
I tell you what, I spend the same amount of time on the toilet, so
It's that is a very interesting platform because TikTok, more so than most, like you on YouTube, people want to see.
what is it?
production value.
Are you like repoing all video to all the platforms?
No, I am
You are
exclusively on YouTube, but I watch what happens on other platforms. The reason I'm exclusive on YouTube is because that's where my audience lives.
Are you at the scale of a show or whatever it is you're putting out that other people are clipping your videos and it is on TikTok? It is on.
There was an account that was clipping my stuff and creating TikToks.
Getting paid.
And I don't know that they were getting paid because TikTok, I don't know that they had a very good revenue sharing thing. But that really wasn't the value of TikTok. For more so than on any other social media platform, they didn't emphasize production quality. That's where you see nowadays people talking in their car. That's because of TikTok. People, if you did that before, people would look at you like you were insane.
Yeah.
Just you were sitting there in your driveway talking to your phone.
It's the poor man's sound booth.
Yeah, and it works great on TikTok because people see that as more
Relatable.
Yeah, more relatable and more authentic.
I have a car.
And they want to know what's going on with you personally.
Yeah.
Where YouTube, people don't really care necessarily about what's going on in the creator's life. They want to know what the creator thinks about X, Y, or Z. Or they want to see your take on AIM, or they want to see your take on the news or whatever.
That's so interesting because even as you described that, it's something I know to be true, but I just haven't considered it much, is that the YouTube subscriber is very different than the TikTok subscriber. That's very different than even Reels. That's different than, and it's just interesting how our brains, like the Reddit person that just can cruise and, I like to read. I'm a reader. And so the things that interest me are dramatically different, and it's just so unique that humans are
fucking wild. I
Yeah.
love them. I think they're so fascinating. We're all so unique and different and just weird.
And studying social media is a microcosm of different levels of humanity.
Yeah.
Because there's actually a comedian that I follow, Josh Johnson, did a really great breakdown of all of social media. And he said something along the lines of, if you go to Reddit, you'll have people like talking about, they'll be so honest about what they're doing in their life that they're admitting to crimes on Reddit. And he breaks it down so well. But I listened to that and I was like, you know what? I have seen some of the most wild comments ever on Reddit. Like, people are so open and honest there. And then on YouTube, you get a very bipolar comment section, right? People are either super gung ho or they are very upset. And
Even the content you put out elicits those responses?
yeah, for sure. In fact, it sort of varies depending on what I'm talking about, right? So a video that performs worse will invariably actually have a general more positive reception. The like ratio is higher. Generally, the comments are more positive, and I don't know why. That seems really odd. But if it was my gut, it means that YouTube served it to my core audience versus broader. And when you go broad, that it's not inviting that sort of thing, but it kind of comes with the territory, I think. It's so weird the way it works, and it's so behind this like curtain that nobody can seem to demystify entirely.
No kidding.
Like there's people who are really, really good at it. Again, Doodle on a Motorcycle is so good at demystifying what makes, like, she can almost predict what video can hit 1 million views. She's that good at it. And I am like, this would be fun to make a video out of. And sometimes it works, and a lot of times it doesn't. It's one of the most unique things I've done as I don't know that I'm a professional, but in my career.
You getting paid?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're a professional.
But like, I came from commercial real estate,
Yeah.
where the measure of success was how much money did you get off this lease, or how long is this lease term? And suddenly now I'm on YouTube, and it's like, how many likes did you get? How many views did you get? Did this video have a higher CPM? It's such a different space, and it really does, even though it's not the Wild West that it used to be.
Yeah.
Because back in the day, it was nuts. It was a completely different animal. It's professionalized a little bit more now, but it still feels very Wild West.
Yeah.
And it's fun. Terrifying, but fun.
Yeah. Interesting. I notice, just listening to you talk, I found a new metric for my own success on my podcast.
And that is?
When I ask a question, if someone looks down and they're thinking about something, it's because they are searching their own information and presenting a fact that they know and understand to be true. If they're looking up, it's because they're having to suppose and wonder. And that's a good success for Sam, is like, if they're thinking about it and they haven't thought about it like that before and they're really searching for the answer, I go, nice.
Yeah, there you go. I mean, that I could totally. That's when I think of the way that, because I've gotten so used to
Just throw the
editing
whole
my
thing
own
off.
voice that I don't. You know how, like, when you start editing and you start hearing your own voice for the first time, you're like, is that really how I sound? But if you talk enough and you record enough,
You talking about from the
voice,
lips of an angel?
more or less. But it, like, that dissociation goes away.
Yeah.
Eventually, the sound that's in your head is the sound that comes out of the speakers.
Yeah.
That sort of just happens. And I've gotten to the point now where I'm editing a piece of content and I watch myself in the camera start doing this. And that's when it's paused for, like, there's no voice and there's a big and
Processing.
it's just there's a big buffering moment.
Yeah, it's the little Apple pinwheel.
I need to start putting that in
It
there.
is the render bar.
But I mean, it's such a weird place to think and talk about because so many people get so many different things out of social media, which is what makes it cool. There's something for everybody there. And that's why it's so difficult, but still so much fun, because when somebody likes a piece of content enough that they shared it of their own volition, then you're like, I made an impact on at least one person, which is really cool to see in real time.
As I spoke to just the lack of information or analytics that I feel I receive about my show, when I do these things, what I'll do is I'll do a collaborative post. Like I'll of our show, I share it, that goes out. But then I'll do a collaborative specific, like Instagram or something like that, I create a cool social clip about the experience. For me at this stage, that in itself has been kind of the validation point that said guest enjoyed themselves as such, that whatever their platform being, yeah, that was fun, and then we share it, and I go, hey, if they liked it, I liked it, and that was good enough for me. And then where it goes from there, still figuring it out. But that's been kind of one metric that I use. And it's like if the guests themselves enjoyed it, that they're comfortable sharing alongside me, and that's usually kind of my, like, that's my digital thumbs up.
Yeah, I mean, it's fun to...
Then he goes, not on my channel, bro.
The one thing that I don't... It's weird because a lot of folks, especially the folks that I know and hang out with, like, maybe I'll drag Dark in the Road over here next, Ben, so that he can sit down and sit in the hot seat.
Hey.
There's a weird thing where people just don't love to talk about their own business about it so much, and I think that holds people back because YouTube is, and social media in general, is so ever evolving that the more you can communicate with other people in your niche, or even just on YouTube or on Instagram or whatever, the more everybody learns, and it's not a zero-sum game, even a little. So being able to share stuff with people from whatever part of social media, a rising tide lifts all boats. And that's fun. And I've met some of the coolest people doing this. I've gotten to meet people from Harley Davidson. I've gotten to meet people from Triumph. I've gotten to ride with Livewire folks. I've gotten to... I actually was in the pits at Coda when Energica won their first... Well, they got second place. It was the first time they got, like, the whole shot at a race. They were so nervous because it was a red flag race that their bike wasn't going to be able to finish the race. And Stefano Mesa crossed second, and I got to be in the pits for that event, which was earth-shattering for that team. It was the elation that you could feel from all these people was so special. And I was sitting next to the CEO of Energica US, and he's such a nice guy. Unfortunately, Energica has since gone bankrupt and ceased operation, but that was such a special opportunity. And I've gotten to do so much more of that cool stuff doing this. And then that's really what made me realize there's so much more to motorcycling than just doing big highway pulls or cracking wheelies or riding dirt or doing all this other stuff. There's layers to all of it, and there's different experiences, and that's what I try to share the most.
Yeah.
Is how varied motorcycling can be, because it's very, like, right over there is a race-built Pan America, which that started out as an adventure bike from Harley Davidson, and some maniac was like, I'm gonna go race this thing. And so they took out the beefy electronic suspension, they lowered it, they stretched it, and they tore off all the stuff that makes it a Pan America except for the motor, and it looks wild.
Did a good job.
Yeah, I mean, it's so cool. It's so cool, the amount of stuff that people can do with it.
Yeah.
And it's exciting. It's fun.
I think similar to social media and similar to the builds that we see in front of us, anytime anybody leans so hard into what they think is cool and confidently push it and just unabashedly, that's where you see the truth, the authenticity that people gravitate towards.
Yeah.
That's where people find the success in all things, because the more them they are, that is unique, and it is not, the everything, and it's similar but different through all industries.
And you can see it in little ways everywhere.
Yeah.
Right. And especially like when it comes to builds, there's some of the builds here are very clearly purposeful, and then there's other ones that are just, this bike looks cool and I wanted to make it, so I did. And they're all just somebody being passionate, and they're this is my ideal version of this motorcycle. Check it out. And I think that's super cool, and that's what YouTube is, right? This is my personal take on the Kawasaki H2 SX SE. Hopefully you enjoyed it.
Like and subscribe. Yeah. Well, so just to kind of round us out, where in the heck are you going, man? What's next for you? What's the future look like?
I don't know.
Talk to your CPA.
No, honestly, I don't know. I really, short-term goals, I want to get my hands on a Pan America ST, and I want to do my damnedest to create something like that bike over there.
Yeah.
I want to go.
Who built that bike?
I have no clue. It's underneath the bike. We'll have to go find out. But it's.
Are you talking behind Chris?
Yeah, that white and red. And
Ooh,
that
by
thing
the
was slick.
Suicide Machine Boys.
Yeah.
Aaron and Sean. Yeah, they did a great job.
That thing is so slick.
Long
and
Beach.
I want to just make my own version of that. That seems so cool. And Harley just released the ST, which makes it cheaper because you don't have to buy a set of 17-inch rims.
Right.
Which that's like $1,800 per wheel.
Yeah.
So that's short-term goals. Long-term goals, I just want to show more cool stuff about bikes. I want to do a build. I want to go do tours. I want to go do anything and everything that I can.
Yeah.
Until, one day, hopefully long time off, I can't ride a motorcycle anymore.
Well, you're 31. You got time.
At least for now.
Well, and with that, everything we've gone over, I appreciate your time. And now this is your time, right into this camera. Anything you want to bring attention to, anything you want to shout out, whatever, on you.
Okay. What do I want to shout out? Well, obviously it'd be remiss of me not to say you can follow me over on YouTube, Spite's Corner, SPITE''S Corner. If I'd have thought a little bit harder about the name of my brand before I started YouTube, I would have liked that now because it sounds a little bit silly. But there's a whole bunch of cool stuff that's coming down the pipe that I'm getting involved with. We've got Traction E-Rag has this awesome training event up in Canada called XT80V. You can check them out. Traction E-Rag, E as in letter E, rag. Very fun dudes. They do some crazy stuff. It's the best riding that I've ever done off-road, and they're awesome. The guys are so welcoming. It's so much fun. You've had Carolyn on. If you haven't checked out her channel, go check that out. If you get Dork in the Road on here, you should check out Dork in the Road's channel. He's really
Dark
fun.
or Dork?
Dork.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, because he's a giant dork.
I'm in.
He's got a man cave filled with lightsabers and old school arcade cabinets.
Oh yeah, I know what we're talking about.
Yeah, he's a fun dude. And if you're at all interested in making YouTube content, all I would say is just do it. Steal Shia LaBeouf's line. Just do it. Yeah, I mean, it's fun. It's, don't expect it to be your full-time gig right out of the gate, but just go have fun and show your perspective on whatever it is you want to talk about.
You don't know till you know.
You don't know till you know. Go have fun.
Yeah.
The more YouTube is not a zero-sum game. The more people hanging out and having a conversation, the better.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate you having a conversation with me today.
For sure.
This is going to go out on my YouTube, which I don't know how to use yet, but it exists.
Well, if you need any help, let me know.
I need too much help. You don't know what you just said. Yeah. Well, appreciate your time, and then get back to the business at hand. Thanks for watching. go check out his channel. Go check out Doodle's channel. And if you've made it this far, then stay tuned. I got a bunch more. So
If you've made it this far, you're gonna like the rest of the stuff that he's putting out. So just go ahead and subscribe.
there you go. Mission accomplished. And this episode brought to you by Luddite. Google it. Monk.